Hi everyone, it's Mary Jane Cops, the phone lady, and this video takes a look at nuance. It's a tricky subject because nuance is about what isn't there, kind of. The word itself means cloud. I tend to think of it like fog. So it's there, but it isn't there. And what do we do with it when we know it's there? So, two things to consider. One, that nuance always contains information, and we access it by being a great listener. So, however you want to think about that, deep listening, active listening, focused listening, disciplined listening, it really is about totally giving your full attention to the other person, not just their words, but how they say those words and any space that exists between the words. And if you're not talking to them on a phone, if you're on camera or you're right in front of them, then nuance always also includes body language. Do they take the glasses on and off their head, or do they look up at the ceiling? Or those are nuance. An example is when you're speaking with someone. I think everybody's had this experience. You're speaking with someone and the conversation becomes emotional, or they have an emotional reaction and their voice cracks, or suddenly they have no breath to speak. Or if you're standing in front of them, their face changes, or maybe there's even their eyes go a bit red. They are working to not cry. And we can pretend we didn't notice, but we did. And there's information in that moment that is part of the conversation. The reason we may ignore it is that we really didn't notice. But again, that's about how we listen. But the other reason we might ignore it is that we don't know what to say, right? And this part of nuance is about being confident or being courageous in acknowledging something that hasn't been spoken in a very direct way, but is part of the fog, the cloud, the space in the conversation. So to stick with this example, if I'm speaking with someone and their voice starts to crack, or I can hear them struggling, having that sort of breath struggle that happens when our throat constricts because we're trying not to cry, normally what I'll say is, "I'm so sorry." And I say nothing else, but I'm saying, what I'm doing is saying, I hear that this is hard for you. And then I leave it with them where we go. Often they will share with me what just happened for them. But sometimes people aren't ready for that, and that's okay. But at least they know that I was listening well enough, that I heard that they shared that with me, and that I'm honoring it. I'm not going to press, but I did hear that. So it's the same in any situation. If somebody is trying to hide from you that they're really enthusiastic about what you do, you could say, "I'm so glad that this is of interest to you." Or if there's silence, you can say, "I sense there may be another question, or I sense you have a thought there. So that you are interacting with that nuance. And this takes practice, because when we aren't using the skill very often, we can not have the confidence in our instincts. But the more you interact with nuance, the more confident you can be in your instincts about what that nuance means. And it does expand the conversation. It does grow the relationship. It does help you really connect with clients, prospects, future employers. There is a connection, of course, between nuance and tone of voice. And the next video is going to talk about tone of voice and its importance in story finding. So hopefully you'll be back here in 2 weeks to watch that video. Okay, thanks. Bye.